What we do know is that Hamas are fighting with local clans. They're fighting with internal opposition throughout the ceasefire. Watching Hamas kill Palestinians and the reaction from the West being kind of like, now we're nuanced about killing Palestinians. Now we're like, listen, what we need to do is we need to talk about the identity of the targets, what they were up to, who they were allied with, were they armed? Suddenly all these questions come in as soon as it's Hamas killing Palestinians. As soon as that happens, we need all this context and understanding about why they had to do it, even if it's a public summary execution. Hipster. I am a hipster. Yes, I championed Hamas disarmament and said it was the big problem before it was famous, before it was popular. But I actually did. I streamed it. You can see it. Fuck. I'm mad. I'm fuming. Okay, so you guys want the updates in the ceasefire? Well, a lot of it's actually gone probably farther than I expected. I did not expect all of the living hostages to get sent back on the same day. I thought it would at least take an extra day, because Hamas even were saying that it might take an extra day. The fact that they got all 20 back on the Monday is kind of insane. Obviously, it's already reached a few hurdles. So the things that they managed to do was they managed to find a withdrawal line to agree upon between Israel and Hamas, and they pulled back to it within a day. Then they managed to get the living hostages back, which was 20 of them on the Monday, as they said they would. The sticking point now, they also managed to release the, 2,000 odd Palestinian prisoners. I think 250 of them had life sentences. They're released back to Gaza and the West Bank. Now it looks like the sticking point is that Hamas don't have as many hostage bodies as people thought they did. Seems that they had about less than half of them to give back. And now they're claiming they don't know where the rest of them are, that they need Israeli technology to find them. Nope, there was no Marwan. Actually, none of the high-profile people were released that Hamas wanted. Marwan was actually beaten in prison not long ago. He's got broken ribs and some other things going on, so he's definitely not freed. And it looks like the sticking point now is going to be that Hamas haven't released all of the hostage bodies because they claim to not even know where half of them are. Israel responded by cutting the 600 trucks that they were going to allow into Gaza every day to 300. Now, I don't know if this is verified 100% yet, but I did hear one person say, Israeli, I heard them say that the 300 trucks that they're cutting are mostly reconstruction material, that the numbers of food trucks and medical trucks and humanitarian stuff and like immediate humanitarian stuff is staying the same, but I don't know if that's verified because there's nothing on UNRWA or Kogat saying anything about the composition of truckloads that are going in recently. We just don't know. So I'll just leave that one hanging for the time being. It seems that the ultimate break in the ceasefire is going to come from where we expected it to. It's going to come from Israel wanting to get Hamas disarmed and Hamas saying no. That's probably the most likely sticking point that we're never going to get around before they start fighting again. And we've already had warnings from Israel Katz, who has said that they are going to resume hostilities if they can't get Hamas to agree to the following terms of the Trump's 20-point plan, one of which is disarmament, the other which would be exile for a certain number of Hamas leaders, another one which would be them giving up power. It seems that Hamas's willingness to stay in power is maybe actually stronger than we initially thought it was. They, again, Israeli intel, maybe. There has been some conjecture that Hamas, before the ceasefire, were actually already in the process of looking inwards to consolidate control against disloyal families and clans within the Strip. They've already been apparently preparing to do that before the ceasefire started, which would explain why that since the ceasefire they have been so quick at starting up these new bodies, like these new security forces and these new units keep on appearing now. A lot of rebranding has been happening and a lot of their attention is being turned inwards towards fighting these disloyal clans, which they consider all to be Israeli collaborators. Some of them are, but not all of them, that we're aware of. I think the last number I saw was 7,000 militants mobilized on the ground to deal with internal affairs. Some people have managed to start rebuilding like little restaurants and houses and things like that. But it's, as far as reconstruction goes of Gaza, that is going to be very much blocked until Israel gets what they want vis-a-vis the hostage bodies and the disarmament. This was Trump being very forthcoming. I also will say, I don't know if it's because of Trump doing this, but even before the hostages were all released, the living ones, this is the first time since in the last 2 years, I guess, since October 7th, this was the first time I think I've ever seen this much media attention being paid to Hamas's intransigence on disarming. I feel like a lot of coverage in the media in the last 2 years has been kind of disappointing in the sense that they have they've made it look a lot more gray and murky in terms of who's at fault for continuing the war than I thought was apparent. But now the question of Hamas actually disarming it's like a main talking point. BBC, CNN, anyone, like obviously Fox, like all these news outlets are now saying like, yes, it seems to be that, yeah, what's happening now is that Israel wants Hamas to disarm. Hamas are saying, no, we want our arms. And which is weird because obviously this is the, something I've been fucking raving about for the last year, that this is like the one very, the get rich quick scheme for ending the war, because again, Hamas's arms don't help anyone. It's a no-brainer. They don't defend Palestinians with their arms. Their arms endanger more lives in Palestine than they help. The idea that they could disarm and that could end pretty much all of the pretext for continuing the war. The fact that it was like that people were in denial of Hamas being unwilling to disarm because there just wasn't that much sourcing on them saying it. But now, finally, we're seeing all these mainstream media outlets just being like, yep, Israel wants them to disarm. The 20-point plan says this to disarm, but they're saying we don't want to disarm. I'm like, bro, thank you so much. Like, I'm really appreciating just like you guys joining in with, it's a bit less lonely now in saying that. So that's appreciated. Not least of all from this dipshit.
Will it take Hamas to disarm, and can you guarantee that is going to happen?
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games. Okay? Now, we did something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first thing we had to do. Above all else, get the hostages back. Now, they misrepresented because we were told they had 26, 24 of dead hostages, if we can use those terms. And it seems as though they don't have that because we're talking about a much lesser number. But that's a very tough subject. I want them back. That's what they said. I want them back. Also, they said they were going to disarm. And initially speaking, they needed, they did take out a couple of gangs that were very bad, very, very bad gangs, and they did take them out, and they killed a number of gang members. And that didn't bother me much, to be honest with you. That's okay. It's a couple of very...
He asked our president to give Bibi a pardon. What, the Israeli president? Can the Israeli president even do that? Can they give pardons? I thought the Israeli president was mostly a ceremonial role. I do remember him saying that, though. Yes, he is rooting for Bibi very, very hard, and it's very annoying.
Bad gangs, it's no different than other countries. Like Venezuela sent their gangs into us, and we took care of those gangs. We have Washington, D.C. is one of the safest cities in the country. It was one of the worst cities in the country if you go back just a little while ago, right? Now it's safe. You can walk to work.
It's funny how Hamas are actually still able to even pull Trump's leg on this by calling them all gangs. Like, I mean, they obviously are gangs, but it's like using that language is very appealing to Trump because he kind of identifies with it. Yeah, we do that too. We use authoritarian measures to crush dissent. We use National Guard inwards as well, even when it's not warranted. Yeah,
isn't it nice? But we have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Yes. You say
because
quickly.
Everyone says, oh, well, they won't disarm. They will disarm. And I spoke to Hamas, and I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm. That's what they told me. They will disarm, or we will disarm.
Did a Hamas official actually say this to him, or did he just talk to some random fuck Arab and think he was talking to Hamas?
Got it?
I don't know. I wonder if it's just really that's how easy narrative control is. I guess when you're the president and you're very of the most powerful country on earth. But yeah, for some reason, all these previous ceasefire deals were always like, oh yeah, Hamas agreed. Hamas agreed to all the terms. They're going to do it. They want to end the war. It's like, dude, Hamas have never, ever, ever said that they want to disarm. This is not a thing they've ever said. I don't know why there was so much doubt around this question for 2 years now. But the fact that this is like the sticking point and the fact that it's actually being picked up on by the English-speaking world is actually kind of surprising to me. I feel like it's taken them a really long time. But, you know, not to say that I was like 2 years ahead of them almost. Not to say that. You know, I'm just a little streamer. Fuck. This is Saleh talking about the fundraiser after people found out it wasn't related to the health ministry. Right, do I need to get this translated though? I probably do, eh?
في سؤالين حاليا عند الناس.
What's he saying? The fuck? Thank you so much, Momo. I appreciate it. But I don't know what he's saying. I don't know what this guy's saying. Hipster. I am a hipster. Yes, I championed Hamas disarmament and said it was the big problem before it was famous, before it was popular. But I actually did. I streamed it. You can see it. Fuck. I'm mad. I'm fuming. Arab speaker here. Yeah, I understand that there are Arab speakers in chat. I just don't know if they want to like type it as I watch it, and I can just try to pick out like individual words. It's like 2 minutes and 46. I could find the transcript actually. Okay, he's saying there are questions people have now. The first question is, it's you, Saleh. How do you deal with it? This is going to be so fucking hard because Arabic to English is a total dick.
في سؤالين حاليا عند الناس. السؤال الأول
The institution without you being confident in it. I'm 100% sure of this, my dear friends. It was a mistake on my part and I admitted it. The topic is honesty in a certain period of time. One has little experience and deceived by people, situations in which you do not act properly. The correct thing is that you do not have enough experience. No one is infallible. The most important thing is recognition. I'm wrong. I was wrong. I'm very upset about this. Just as you were the ones who donated money. The money was collected through you. It was necessary. You really know this. Is he? Wait. The fuck is he saying, man? So he's admitting fault. This is after. This is his own YouTube channel. I guess this is when they found out that the fundraiser was a scam. I'm gonna wait. I would translate, but I'm gaming. Oh, thanks, Momo. It's okay. He's saying he got scammed too. I don't know. He might very well be saying that he got scammed too. Yes, potentially. Wait, is this another fundraiser? This is from November 7th. But the videos that we saw were from 2025, unless they were published later. Is this a different fundraiser? The fundraiser we saw was for a Nasser Children's Hospital rebuilding project. And they linked it to the Kuwaiti something and to the PA in Ramallah. I don't know, we'll get to that. Nordisk Help. I don't know. Fuck it. Why does it say Nordic Help? Maybe this is a different organization. Maybe he's done more than one fundraiser. Did he do more than one fundraiser? This is a different fundraiser he's talking about. Dude, this guy's a fucking clown. The collective fucking mourning of this guy as if he was some like beacon of truth in Gaza. Very bizarre. Anyway, more footage. I don't know if you give a fuck. More footage of Hamas breaking people's legs, okay? Published on their own social media sites. Maybe. I don't know if that's exactly what that video is showing. But what we do know is that Hamas are fighting with local clans. They're fighting with internal opposition throughout the ceasefire. That's like their next priority. I don't know if you guys saw, there was a video of 8 men from the Doghmush clan being executed on camera by Hamas in the middle of the streets. They announced they were going to do it. They did do it. If you want to know the context of it, let's go into that. First of all, Fox obviously saying that it could jeopardize the deal. Let's see.
In ceremonies today to officially mark 2 years since the October 7th attack, honoring the victims murdered by Hamas.
This coming after the terror group handed over 2 more bodies as 19 other deceased hostages are still in Gaza, including 2 U.S. citizens.
Well, Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst knows all about it. Has been covering this every step of the way, and he is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey, Brian, good morning. After releasing the bodies of 2 additional hostages overnight, Hamas says it has released all of the remains that it can locate. This means there are still 19 hostage bodies unaccounted for inside Gaza. The group says that significant efforts and specialized equipment are needed to locate the others.
That's way above half.
U.S. officials saying Hamas is not in violation of the agreement and that phase 2 will move forward as planned. Part of that next phase will include an international stabilization force that has oversight from the U.S. military, but not American boots on the ground to participate.
No reason for the U.S. military to get involved in Gaza.
No, I don't see that. No, I think we're going to handle it very well. We'll be helping Israel, but we have other countries that are now.
We will disarm them. Does he mean Israel? Okay.
Signed, many countries signed, and many of those countries relatively are very strong military powers. And Hamas has no support. See, Hamas had the support of Iran, and now Iran says, don't get us involved. The last time they got them involved didn't work out too well. So they used to have the support of Iran.
On Wednesday, a funeral was held for deceased hostage Daniel Shimon Perez. Thousands gathered to pay their respects after being released only 2 days ago. Former hostage Matan Angrest spoke at his commander's funeral.
Hi, everyone. I want to say that I can barely stand on my feet, and it is a privilege for me to speak here. It is the least I can do. I want to tell you that the team that fought with me are the true heroes, really. I didn't prepare for anything in advance. I can't believe I got here at all. It is the least I could do for Daniel.
Now, Matan said he is ready to go back into Gaza to find the body of his friend who was in the tank with him on the morning of October 7th. He's talking about Itai Hen, an American citizen. Guys, back to you.
So, Trey, I know you're like everybody else was.
So there's a bit of a contrast going on here, right? There's a contrast here because obviously Trump seems to identify with anything that involves the word gang and stopping gangs. That makes him really happy. So he's kind of almost done a bit of propaganda for Hamas in that sense. Like, because Hamas's way of dealing with gangs is summary executions in the street. Public executions. No trial, no due process, none of that shit, that Mickey Mouse bullshit. And then publishing it on Alexa TV, right? Alexa TV, which still stands, by the way, somehow, despite their buildings being destroyed constantly. Very resilient outlet. But at the same time, a senior U.S. military official has actually threatened Hamas as well for the executions. So there's like a mixed message going on now where Trump is publicly sort of downplaying the executions, but at the same time, you've got American military officials who are warning them to stop doing it because, again, it's like they're saying that it might endanger the entire ceasefire. The discourse around these clans is so maddening. You'd think that like the reaction when Israel kills Palestinians, I expect the Western people to react the way they do. That's not really surprising. But watching Hamas kill Palestinians and the reaction from the West being kind of like, now we're nuanced about killing Palestinians. Now we're questioning now we're like, listen, what we need to do is we need to talk about the identity of the targets, what they were up to, who they were allied with, were they armed? Suddenly all these questions come in as soon as it's Hamas killing Palestinians. As soon as that happens, we need all this context and understanding about why they had to do it. Even if it's a public summary execution. Like, this is the kind of footage that people have been starved of, I guess, with the IDF being in Gaza, because for all of the IDF's actions that are highly fucking questionable, some of which are definitely illegal. There's at least like 10 plus things, like instances of the IDF behaving in a way that there's no good explanation for it, whether it's like Hind Rajab or the tank fire at the hospital fucking cameraman. Like, there's quite a lot of examples here of them doing things that are just the WCK bombings, the ambulance murders. Like, there's so many things here that you're like, okay, yeah, this is obviously not according to like fucking protocol. But the one thing that we haven't actually seen is IDF soldiers just like, you know, binding people behind their backs, putting them on their knees and shooting them in the head, right? Like the standard summary execution, wartime, war crime, whatever the fuck, like completely unambiguous. But Hamas obviously does this, and suddenly we're like, oh, let's talk about who these guys were. Like, what the fuck, man? These guys could have been the biggest pieces of shit on earth, and it's like, that's not how you deal with that. To see like I don't know. It's really bizarre, especially since it's so difficult to. There isn't really that much reliable information on most of these clans or these oppositional factions. There are at least 4 of them that we know a little bit about. 2 of which I believe are affiliated with Fatah, not with Israel. but we'll get into that. The discourse is ridiculous on it.
Disturbed by what we saw, the execution of at least 30 people on camera. Hamas wanted everyone to see it. They're still in control. Other clans were posting on social media. They're in control of different sections of Gaza. The U.S. is now working with Israel to create a safe zone to shelter Gazans who are afraid for their lives of being victims like this. Could you tell me more about that? And has any Arab nation spoken up and condemned Hamas for this?
Not yet, and it is significant, Brian. Yesterday, U.S. Central Command released a statement about these executions that are taking place inside Gaza, calling on Hamas to stop the violence immediately and disarm, as they agreed to as part of this 20-point peace plan. I spoke with Palestinians yesterday who said they believe these executions will continue, that Hamas is cracking down inside Gaza, and they are back in power in the central part of the Strip. And so if they don't move forward and disarm, it raises questions about the implementation of Phase 2. But you heard President Trump multiple times this week at the White House. He says he expects Hamas to adhere to the agreement.
All right, Trey.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. This is tenuous times, but no one can doubt Phase 1's success. Phase 2 is going to be the challenge.
But to see Hamas there executing people that have been badly beaten and they had their eyes blindfolded and then they're killed in front of a crowd just shows Hamas is sending a message.
Mandami, in his interview with Martha yesterday, only mentioned the Israelis that killed someone. Didn't say anything about Hamas.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube?
Wow, thank you so much. Fox News, my boys. That dastardly Mamdani, he's going to use that mayoral position to do so much Israel-Palestine fuckaboutery. Okay, come on. Come on! Okay. If you guys want to, like, as far as we know about these clans, there are four of them. There are 4 factions in Gaza right now that are causing Hamas a bit of a headache. One of them is called the Astal militia. Now, their leader has actually claimed to coordinate with Israel. Do you know what else I know about them? Nothing. It's really difficult to find reliable anything about these groups. Maybe I'll do that for the next few days. Now, Astal actually were the guy Astal. He was a former PA. But yeah, like the fact is that with each of these clans, they all have like their own unique background and their own unique motives, and they're in different parts of the Strip and their own actually different relations with Israel as well. Because some of them, yes, Astal, yes, Astal, Al Astal. His name is Hussam Al Astal, the guy. I think he used to be involved with PA security. He has claimed that he gets support from Israel, but we don't actually know exactly what kind of support or how much. But they actually are currently working with Abu Shabab, who are the main oppositional faction that is definitely connected to Israel, right? The Yusuf Mazen, the other leader of the Abu Shabab group, was jailed by Hamas after he murdered a Hamas fighter in 2010. He murdered an Al-Qassam Brigade's fighter in Gaza. So Abu Shabab and Yusuf Mazen, like these groups, Shabab and Astal, are getting support from Israel. Like, no one denies this. Not only have they been given weapons, Abu Shabab, they've also been given intel from Israel. So as they stand now, there's about 2,000 of them. They receive support from Israel and they boast about 2,000 men. The other 2 clans, though, that are currently being accused of being collaborators or Zionist spies or whatever the fuck. Again, I don't know how much of a basic understanding you need to have of terror groups, but terror groups do this thing where everyone who opposes them is a collaborator. That's what they do. It's literally the Nasrallah quote of him talking about chopping the hands off of anyone who tries to take their arms because they'll consider those Israeli hands. It's not even a controversial claim that they do this. Where was him saying this? Was it here?
Experts also suggest that Hezbollah may be weighing its options carefully before responding, as Nasrallah's death not only impacts...
This was when Nasrallah died. Was it here? Oh, I think this video might have been deleted. It might have been deleted. Is it this? Oh, it's this.
Not only impacts Hezbollah, but also its allies.
Oh no, this is what I literally just watched. Dipshit. Okay.
The understanding is that Iran is...
It was this guy, though. It was this guy talking about it, wasn't he? Is there a video here? I can maybe find it from the book. It's in the book. Hang on. And this is at the time as well when Hezbollah's arms and their role in Lebanon was under question from everyone. This is after the Israeli withdrawal, where a lot of people were saying, yeah, you've done the, yeah, well done. You got rid of the occupier, like, but also you are not the government, like you are not the military of Lebanon. Like their arms were under question from a lot of people within the country. But Nasrallah's response to that was to say, if anyone tries to disarm the resistance, we will fight him in the way the martyrs fought in Karbala, famous like Shia lore, whatever, because we know that any action of this kind would be an Israeli action, an Israeli decision, and a move to further Israel's interests. We will consider any hand that tries to seize our weapons as an Israeli hand, and we will cut it off. It's a standard tactic. They always call people who cross them collaborators, regardless of their motives or connections or lack thereof to Israel. Because not everyone in Lebanon who wanted to disarm Hezbollah is an Israeli collaborator or driven by Israeli guidance. Believe it or not, that's crazy, isn't it? Some of these people have fought against Israel. Some of these people have lost shitloads of family members to Israel. These clans are no different. So they're the two clans right now that are being accused of being Israeli collaborators, quite without seemingly any evidence. One is the Mujahida clan. They were historically linked to Fatah. They have officially, like in every capacity, denied any connections to Israel, but they are kind of done. They had a gunfight with Hamas just a week before the ceasefire, and 100 Hamas men from the Sahem, which is the piercing arrow unit, attacked them in Khan Yunis, and were only pushed back after an Israeli drone was hitting Hamas positions, like at the back line. So they effectively lost that gun battle to Hamas, that clan, and then they announced a pledge of loyalty. They pledged their loyalty to the government of Gaza. The government of Gaza is Hamas, so they're done as far as we know. The Doghmush clan, which has been fighting with Hamas a lot more aggressively recently, and this also seems to be where Jafrawi died. He died as he was either reporting in or joining in, we have no idea, in a fight with his clan between Hamas. They have been they've maintained their affiliation with Fatah throughout the last decade. They are linked to Fatah, not to Israel. They were accused very early on in the war of stealing aid by Hamas and also of hoarding flour. They deny it, obviously. And just after the ceasefire, Hamas went into the Jordanian hospital, which is where this clan was, where they had men, and 25 of them were killed in a gunfight. About 45 were arrested, and several Hamas fighters were killed as well. And that's also what was followed up with by the executions. So that's the big clan that Hamas is fighting with now. But the evidence that they are Israeli collaborators, I haven't seen it anywhere. This doesn't seem to be based on anything. This just seems to be based on the fact that because Abu Shabab are linked to Israel, people are just seeing, oh, clan fights with Hamas must be a collaborator. Like, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. I thought the line from people in the West was like, yeah, we don't like Hamas. You know, we just hate Israel more. Like, okay, fine. But not that you support Hamas against internal opponents. That doesn't make any sense at all. Dude, I for one hope Hamas gets every single traitor and Zionist collaborator, every single one. How do you think Hamas decides or determines that someone was a collaborator as the governing force of Gaza? Trial? Intel? No. They just execute them in the street and say afterwards, oh yeah, they were a collaborator. It's fucking mental. Absolutely insane. But I guess that's going to be the next chapter in the story. So we'll probably spend the next couple of streams figuring out what's what with these orgs. Because right now, let me see if I can get a translation of this. Because me personally, do you know what my opinion is on the ideology or the motives of the Doghmush family? I don't have one. Because I don't know fucking anything about them. I don't know anything about these people. I just know that some of them were summarily executed and they don't like Hamas. That's literally all also Fatah, like how strongly connected they are right now. I don't know, but that's it. I don't know why you would ever claim to have a justification or whatever for having these people executed when there's so little information about them. This was a statement that they put out in low resolution. Fucking Google Translate, man. Why is it so disgusting? Can I just get like a would this actually work if I do it bigger? Like that? Even if it's blurry? Okay, that's better. Okay. So this was a statement that they put out on October the 13th in response to, this is after the fighting. So they're saying here, praise be to God alone, and prayers be, peace be upon the one after whom there is no prophet, Master Muhammad, and all upon his family, companions. In light of the blatant and barbaric attacks that our honorable family has been subjected to at the hands of the so-called Saham unit, which is the piercing arrow unit that Hamas has for internal security, which targeted the families, destroyed homes, violated the sanctity of women and children, and shed the blood of innocents. Without deterrence or restraint, we, the Central Council of the Doghmush family, affirm the following. First, we condemn in the strongest terms the heinous crime and the dangerous security lapse carried out by armed elements affiliated with Hamas against members of the family, and hold the Hamas leadership fully responsible for these bloody acts that came against the backdrop of an individual dispute that in no way warrants this barbarity. Okay. Second, we affirm that our honorable family had nothing to do with the martyrdom of our beloved brother Saleh al-Jafrawi, may God have mercy on him. We condemn the attempts of some paid media channels affiliated with Hamas to link the incident to the family in order to justify the crime and tarnish its pure reputation. Third, what happened reveals the true face of some bloodthirsty Hamas leaders who engage in security rampage that has nothing to do with the resistance and exploit the banner of resistance to settle internal scores and terrorize honorable families. Fourth, the Doghmush family, which has presented more than 700 martyrs in the battles to defend Gaza, and which has stood firm in the face of Israeli aggression, will not accept to be rewarded in this treacherous manner and will not remain silent about the blood of its sons. Fifth, we call on the dignitaries and elders of the families and clans in the Gaza Strip to hold an emergency meeting to take a unified position to stop the encroachment of the so-called Saham unit and to deter anyone who dares to undermine the dignity of honorable families under an organizational or security cover. 6. We call on everyone to be accurate and not to be carried away by malicious rumors. We call on our honorable people in Gaza to stand united in the face of this security chaos, which, if left unchecked, will affect every home and family in the Gaza Strip. Okay, last bit. Wait, is this all of it? Did I just get all of it? I thought there was more. What the fuck? Let's try this. Oh. Okay. In conclusion, the Doghmush family was and still is one of the steadfast, struggling families that supports the honorable resistance. It will not allow any party, whoever it may be, to tamper with its blood, reputation, or security. God is behind the intention. So that's the statement from the clan that people are accusing of being Zionist collaborators, the Central Council of the family. So, like, the fact that this could just be Hamas trying to assert control over previously independent areas. It could just be them trying to consolidate power over areas that, because quite often in parts of Gaza, I think there are some areas that Hamas just kind of would have an understanding with the local clans where like the clan would lead or run the particular area and Hamas would just kind of like leave them alone. It could just be that. It could just be that. It could be a dispute, like they said, with individuals in the family that got taken out on the whole clan. It could be that they were just lying and they're actually just Israeli collaborators who are just pretending to have lost 700 people fighting against the IDF. It could be all those things. Any one of them. But yeah, that's going to be taking up the news for the next few days, I think, is the Hamas clan wars. Subscribe, you fucking assholes. I mean, sorry.